It's 3 o'clock. Let's call the Churchill County Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. We now have time for our first public comment. Is there anybody that would like to make a comment at this time? Hearing none, let's do a roll call of the members. Should we start with you, Sue?
Sue Segura here.
Jessica Rowe?
Ryan Swarzek.
Sari Kaler.
Maddie Cerna.
All right, thank you. Now, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of agenda as submitted or revised. Could we get a motion?
Madam Chair, I think we skipped over number 5, the verification of the posting of the agenda.
You are correct. Thank you for keeping me on track on a Thursday. Verification of the posting of agenda. Crystal?
The agenda was posted on the 21st of April between the hours of 8 and 9 at all the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Thank you so much. And now for the consideration and possible action on the approval of the agenda as submitted or revised. Could we take a motion for that?
I move to approve agenda as submitted.
Thank you, Ryan. Do we have a second?
Second that.
Thank you, Sari. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the motion carries. And now we have the consideration and a possible action regarding the approval of minutes of the meeting held on March 26th, 2025, the special meeting. Do we have any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none, I am happy to entertain a motion on the approval of those minutes.
I'll move to approve those minutes.
Thank you, Sari. Can we get a second on the approval of those minutes?
Yeah, this is Maddie, and I'll second that.
Thank you, Maddie. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you so much. The motion carries. And the second is like unto that, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the minutes for the meeting held on March 27th, 2025. Do we have any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none, I am willing to hear a motion on the approval of those minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as submitted for March 27, 2025.
Thanks so much, Ryan. So
I second it.
And we have a second from Sue. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. All right, Kathy, it's time for the Library Board of Trustees report. And then, does anybody have anything that they want to report?
I do. So I love to get the newspaper because it lets me know what's going on. And I went by and picked one up when I got my mail today. I was so happy when it said, all events are free and open to the public. If you guys don't get this, it's amazing. So thank you for doing this. And I had an opportunity to go vote for Bookmark. And then I spent 45 minutes interrogating the IT guy. Did he say I did? Pretty
said
close.
you had a conversation.
Oh, no, interrogated. I wanted to see data on this and that. He was very, very helpful. So I love this.
Yay.
Woohoo!
Thanks, Sue. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to add to the report?
I have something. This is Sari Kaler.
I wasn't here for the bookmark. I had to go down to Arizona a week earlier. And so I got the email from Kathy saying we can come in during this time. And so I frantically emailed her, can I come in tonight? And of course, she got it the next morning. And by that time, I was already on my way to Arizona. And so I asked if they could make magic happen and let me virtually judge the bookmarks. And Kathy and Tom worked their magic, and I was able to vote, and I was so excited seeing all of those bookmarks. Everybody did such a good job. I had a hard time not giving everybody tens, but thank you, Kathy and Tom, for doing that for me. And I also want to mention how kind everybody is every time I go into the library. Lily, Tom, Maria, Magdalena, they are all so kind, Kathy, of course. And I really appreciate that. I think that helps bring the community together. So, thank you.
I appreciate that, Sari. Did you have something that you wanted to say, Maddie?
I just wanted to say that I also really enjoyed judging the bookmarks. It was a lot of fun.
I think that was an excellent initiative. Did you have anything that you wanted to say, Ryan, or are you good? Okay. I appreciated the amount of participation that we had in the bookmarks and the level of artistry that our community had shown there. And I've also really been interested in the amount of attendance and energy that I've been seeing and hearing from our community. They're enjoying the things that we've been doing. So I appreciate what you and your team are doing, Kathy. At this point, we can go on to the library director's report.
Thank you for those kind words. So April 7th, we asked all the board members to come in and vote for the bookmarks, and when we planned this with the school district, we really didn't know what to expect, and it was amazing. So now we're talking already next year, what are we going to do? How are we going to grow it? What are we going to improve? How are we going to? So it's been a great conversation piece, and the staff has been really excited. We've walked folks over to it because they've asked what it is. So we think it was a really fun project. We will have the bookmarks printed. They will go to the winners. I'm going to invite the winners to come next month to the board meeting to get their little prize in front of all of you so you guys can see who they are and thank them and all of that. I think it was just a fun thing to do, and I think it was a good thing that we did that. I attended the department head meeting. There wasn't any strange things about that. I attended the Churchill County Partnership meeting that was held at the Pennington Center, and as a fairly new person to this town, I am amazed at how many resources there are. So now I have invited some of those resources to do things at our library, social services, and some other departments and some other organizations to see if we can let more people know about the resources that are available, because there's a lot of community involvement and a lot of things out there available, and I'm really surprised. So I am now working with those folks, trying to see what we can set up and what we can have happen at the library. I met with Robin Jordan, the new director at the Churchill County Arts Center, and she has some great ideas, wonderful ideas. I don't know how we're going to pull them all off, but they were great ideas. So we're going to partner and do a lot of things together. So we were excited about that. We launched the survey Monday for the strategic plan, and we didn't really know. We have a laptop set up. We have QR codes all around the library. We've taken it to the museum. We've taken it to the Pennington Center. It's all over social media. I didn't know how many to expect in the first day, and we got 17 results. So I was so shocked and so excited. So I was pouring through that data today, looking at it, and I'll log on every day now that I know that people are doing it. So that started the 21st with the questions that were in the packet, and then it ends May 11th. So we have a little bit of time to gather that data and to figure out what we're going to do with it and if it matches our strategic plan, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Kathy, could you put that in both of the papers, the QR code?
Sure.
Yeah.
You bet.
Just call
Absolutely.
Steve or Rachel, and I bet they'll do it for us.
And I know I talked to Rachel yesterday, and she wants to do an article on it, so
Perfect.
it'll be there. We hosted a tour of the North Side Preschool. I read to them once a month, and I think I had more fun than the kids did, but we made kites, and we paraded around the library with our kites with streamers, and we read some stories, and we did some music and movement, and Ann came over from the county to videotape it and take some pictures, so that is a partnership that I built, I think, 3 days into when I started, so it's been really fun there. We hope to grow it next year, add another classroom, add some more things to do. So that was really fun. They were there Monday, and they were oohing and ahhing about the automatic book drop, you know, that machine, like they couldn't get enough of that. So we fed books for probably 10 minutes. It was like, I think my staff was like, enough, you know. But it was fun. It was really fun. And then our kites were really fun. And we promoted summer reading, and we promoted getting library cards, and that was the point, is early literacy stuff. So I attended a director meeting with the co-op, and I also attended a director meeting with the state of Nevada's library system, and that some good information. I didn't really sign up for anything or take on any committees because I'm still trying to figure out, you know, where my niche is. So we'll have a CLA meeting on Monday, and in May, I would like to, if it's okay, bring the winners for the bookmarks in and have them just see the process of what this is, and build a relationship between the kids and the board, and just build more community, if that's okay. That's all I have on my director's report.
I appreciate that, Kathy. I think that you have been very busy this last month, and I think it really shows. For my own edification, if we wanted to be a part of the survey, where is it already out there for the public?
On the website, front page, take the survey, click the button, and it pops up. It couldn't be any easier to find. And then also, if you come into the library, there's QR codes that you can take on your phone, and then we also do have some print ones. If folks don't want to use the computer, we have some print ones at the desk that we will enter that information for them.
Excellent. I appreciate that. I know we've got people that are watching from home, and I'm sure they want to weigh in on this too. So
Thank you.
Thank you for that. At this point, we can set the date and time of the regular board meeting. We have it listed as May 22nd at 3. Does anybody have any problems with that meeting? I think we are good, so we are done with that piece. We will reconvene on the 22nd. And now we can move into new business. So our first item for new business, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the monthly budget reports for March 2025. Does anybody have any questions or discussion that they want to raise on that item? Hearing none, I would consider a motion for approval on the monthly budget reports for March.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly budget reports for March of 2025.
Thank you, Ryan. Can we get a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sue. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Second item under new business, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the Library Gift Fund report for March 2025. Do we have any discussion or questions on that? Hearing none, I'm happy to entertain a motion on that item.
I'll make a motion to approve the Library Gift Fund report for March 2025.
Thank you, Sari. Can we get a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sue. I appreciate it. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Our third item under new business, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the strategic plan survey and timeline for the survey to be used in developing goals and a mission statement for the Churchill County Library.
Oh, I think that's me, right? So we did launch the survey. What we're hoping to do, our ultimate goal, is to obviously listen to the community and build our service model around that. but also we want very specific goals that are attainable and that are we can sustain them, but we want those goals to really match what the survey said. We can make great goals, but if they're not serving the community and they're not representing what we need to represent, that's why we added this in the pack this time. So if there's goals that you see or something that you want revisited, that we would like to know that. The Strategic Plan Committee has worked really hard on shaping this. It's not just me, it's not just my staff. So I didn't know if there would be questions at this point or if there's something I could clear up. I will tell you some of the goals, some of the stuff we've kind of started already, hit and miss, but I really think it needs to be kind of a structured, so then, and we do hope that the goal, that the strategic plan runs from 2025 to 2030. So if you run I've done a lot of research, and if you run a 3-year plan, you start it this year, you implement it the next year, and then you're already looking at rewriting it for the 3rd year. So I kind of hope that it'd be okay if we did it from 2025 to 2030. That will give us lots of data, lots of opportunity to fulfill these goals, or bring it back to you and say this goal is now, because of whatever reason, is unattainable, and we want to revisit XYZ or whatever it is. So that's kind of where we're at right now. This is a rough draft. This isn't out to the public other than the packet. It's just a starting point. We can axe it all and start over. You can like it the way it is. It's really open for discussion at this point.
Thank you, Kathy. Does anybody have discussion or questions on the strategic plan? I think on my end, and feel free to jump in and ask questions for anybody that has been looking at this and wants to join in. One of the things that I'm really appreciating about the strategic planning process is this allows Kathy and her team to articulate some core goals that will certainly tie to the way that we can measure the success and effectiveness of the library, and also Kathy's role in that, and to tie some of the places for appreciating what her staff does and articulating that out to the public. I also have really appreciated in the discussions how these goals were not pulled out of nowhere.
No.
They were pulled from observation of what our community is using and what the library and the staff has articulated as needs, and then also looking at historic documents in our historic strategic plan. So all of these have been very intentional. They seem very, very appropriate. Putting them out in public record in this way allows other people to see it, and I think that including the voice of the community here coincides with many of those goals that are in the strategic plan. I think that letting the community articulate back what they need from the library in this survey process gives a voice to the important part of the mission of our service. And so I think this has been very intentional. Certainly educated me, and I've appreciated being a part of that. So thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Goals are just goals when you write them. I'd like to see steps, how you're going to achieve
Okay.
things. And I want to see a rubric for evaluation. And just a little bit of feedback. These are a lot. You might identify just 3 to 5 in each group
Okay.
that are the most important. Do your step, because you could tie some of these in together. And do your steps, how you're going to achieve it, how you're going to provide data. And then I would just put a rubric out there so we can see the progress.
Okay. It's a great idea. Thank you.
I have a question, Kathy. So the goals aren't part of the strategic plan that are online. Those were just given to us, or everybody has access to the goals?
No.
So-
Well, they have access to what's online now.
Right.
The goals weren't, the strategic plan is the only piece that's in that Google Doc that they can answer.
Okay, I was just trying to understand that a little bit better
I'm glad you cleared
because,
that up, yeah.
the packet, that was like right by each other. So I would like to know, so goal 4, you have grow responsibly, and in the last one you put repurpose makerspace area. So you guys have already started kind of doing that. So how successful has that been in just this month where you have repurposed that one room in the library? Or it's,
Well,
am I
that's,
not-
the makerspace piece is where Tom was doing his stop animation, where we did the demos. I
Okay.
think you're thinking about the new meeting room that we opened up.
Yes.
Yeah, we are just now opening that up.
Okay.
I've reserved it for like the kite program, and we have 3 classroom tours coming next month, so I've reserved them for that. But I think you're thinking of that room.
Yes, I
And we are
am.
now ready, after a staff meeting tomorrow, to open that up to the public, so the staff understands how the locking system works, what the hours, how to turn the key back in, like all of the logistics. And so we will open that up starting tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
How many people does that room seat?
Well, 4 comfortably. I think I've asked the fire marshal to come and give us a number for fire code, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet, so I'm comfortable with 4. Looking at the small study room that we have, and then the annex, we kind of did a little bit of math, and I'm okay with 4 getting out of there safely if there would be a fire. I don't know about any more than that, so that's what I'm going to tell the staff to allow. That will double the space that we have already with the room that we have of 2. So it's better than nothing. And then the annex is always, available if folks want that. So I think it's going to help on having study space, quiet study space. So we'll see. But I think 4, to answer your question, I think 4 will be a good number to start with.
I've noticed, go ahead. Did you have another question?
Oh, no, I was going to comment on the larger thing. Were you guys done asking questions about the room and whatnot? Yes. Okay, I just want to say that I'm very excited about the survey. I think that's so neat. And everyone's feedback was great. I think the goals look good. So
Okay, thank you.
I'm just really excited about the survey.
17 already?
I love that you're excited, Maddie. Everybody can use their power of word of mouth to encourage our patrons and our community to come to it. And you can see that the goals that we're all talking about are included here in the materials with the agenda packet. That's out there in the public record. We've got these posted in some places. So people have an ability to kind of weigh in, comment on these, give us suggestions. There's a lot of different pieces in there where the community can use their voice. So I think that gives us a lot of avenues for that kind of feedback.
I'd like to also add that our population is 25,000, and get an accurate survey, you need 25% of that.
Okay.
So we're pretty close to 5,000 people. So we need to get it out there, get it on social media, get it in the paper,
Okay.
anything that we can do
Okay.
for it to be an accurate survey.
Okay, thank you.
So Sue's given us all some homework too to help
Yes.
spread the word,
Lucky you guys.
right? All right, is there anything else that we would like to house under that agenda item? Any other commentary that we would like to take? Do we want to consider a motion in support of what Kathy has laid out in front of us? I think it might be a nice gesture from the board if you wanted to do that.
I'll make a motion to approve the survey and the goals that are here. And can I put a footnote of with editing if that comes up, if you need to edit it later? Or no?
Yeah. I mean, as I understand this, it's kind of a work in progress. And so I don't know if there needs to be an approval of the goals. If the board is looking to support the process, I think you could, approve the survey that's gone out and in the progression so far, type of a thing.
I appreciate you helping with that clarification, Jeff, because yes, I think we are approving the survey and the timeline and the plan, rather than this as the final draft.
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable approving it without steps in a rubric, how we're gonna evaluate if it's working or not.
I understand that, Sue. Again, this is a draft, and those steps will come as the strategic plan becomes the strategic plan. So this is moving out there in a first step. getting feedback from the community. It will come back after some nudging and those feedback pieces, which is when steps and a rubric on what we actually plan to take as our final goals, if I understand it correctly. Am I
The next
correct on
month-
that, Kathy?
The next month, we will do, the strategic plan committee will work on all of these all of these things that you want, and then we'll bring it back into the next packet in May 22nd, and then we'll decide if it's solid enough or if we need more. It really is a fluid document, and it has changed a lot in the weeks that we've done this. So we're really open to whatever you guys need for it to be. But I think next month we'll have the steps, we'll have the rubric. We had talked about adding the steps last time, but then we didn't know if it was too much, too soon. So it's a learning process for all of us. But we will absolutely do all of these things for the next month. And then May, you'll see it. You guys will decide if it's good, we can adopt it, you can approve it, and it goes into, this is how we will move the library forward.
Who's on your committee, Kathy?
Jessica and Ryan,
Okay.
and Zip from the CLA, and Terry McAdin from the CLA, Miles, Carol, myself, Jessica Hahn, our 14-hour page, and Jay, my youth services.
Perfect.
So I kind of tried to pull two people from
Perfect.
everywhere to get a really well-rounded
You also have
committee.
Mel.
And, yeah.
My apologies. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have Mel Glover from the
Oh,
museum.
no, yeah. So, see, yeah. So,
Great.
So I tried really hard, and we were tapping into Mel because he was doing one too, so I was trying to get the advice for free. So I didn't have to hire somebody to facilitate a survey, so.
That's good.
But that's, yeah, so we will bring this back to you in May, and it will look different, and it will be, and if it's not what you want, we'll bring it back in June. Like, we are really okay with whatever suggestions and stuff you are asking.
Perfect.
And if I may, I know this is agendized as an action item. I don't think any action is needed today unless the board wants to, but I don't think any action needs to happen.
I have a question. Would it be desirable or appropriate for us to weigh in on the 3-year plan versus the 5-year plan? I think it sounded fine for it to be a 5-year plan. Do you need that feedback from us now, or?
It's not on the agenda.
I don't know. I didn't know if that was kind of a subset of this. I can just leave this as a comment saying I support the 5-year plan. if that's the most helpful version of what I'm saying.
Appreciate that, Maddie. Did you have something that you wanted to put in there, Ryan?
No, but any comments or any suggestions, you can always meet with Kathy and give her your suggestions on and then she'll bring them to the committee, and so you can do that.
I appreciate the reporting in and the checking in on the process, bringing the conversation in front of the community in this open forum and bringing it in front of the board so that we all stay apprised and up to date on it. The soliciting of feedback and all of those pieces, I agree. I think we're right at the right point. And then I think the timeline of having something that is a more final document once we've received a bunch of the feedback is appropriate for me.
And I too support the 5 years.
Thank you.
Do we have any other discussion that we want to take on this item? Hearing none, let's move to the last item under our new business, consideration and possible action regarding the discussion about hoopla costs and caps.
Well, here we go. So Hoopla is an amazing service that we offer. I'm going to start with that. Hoopla at the level that it is right now, I feel is unsustainable for a very long period of time because of costs. So I want to, starting May 1st, cut back our cap, put some caps on this service, and I want to cap it to, instead of it being unlimited checkouts, I want to cap it to 15 checkouts a month, and I want to cap audiobooks and ebooks, audiobooks at $2.84 and ebooks at $1.99. Those are our two biggest platforms that are used the most, and I think this will help sustain the collection money that we put into that for a much longer period of time. I'll give you an example. Last month, we spent $3,100 on just Hoopla. I pulled some statistics today. We had 1,300 people do instant checkouts, so 1,300 people used that service last month. And that is a high number, because February and January were a little lower. March was kind of an anomaly, but right now,
Do you have that data for us?
I'm sorry?
Do you have that data for us?
I have it just right here. I didn't put it in the packet because it changes almost hourly.
Okay.
Because I leave Hoopla open all day on my desk and I watch people check out, check. So yesterday morning, I had it open at 8:30, and by 10 o'clock, it was already almost $400 more. So this is probably not even accurate as of an hour ago. So this month, we're starting at, we're 24 days in, and we have 956 circulations. So there were more circulations so far for the month in March, but that doesn't mean that we're not gonna get to that $3,100. I put all of the state collection development money into Hoopla this year. We got $5,000 as a one-time, that's what they give you, and then we got a one-time gift of $6,000 and some change. So that was $11,661. That has all been put into Hoopla to be able to pay for this service. We have done a lot of research, and I have spoke to many people. I don't think if we don't put caps on it, we're going to burn through that money pretty quickly. And then what do we do? And then how do we sustain it? And where do I pull that collection money from? And what does that mean to our print collection? There's a lot of what ifs. So I would like your support. I would like to cap it starting May 1st and see what it does for 30 days with those caps. Bring it back to you in May and say, gosh, this is amazing. We're not down, but we're not spending $3,000 either. And then decide in June what that needs to look like and bring you 30 days of data and tell you where we think it is. And somehow we come to a sweet, comfortable spot that we can sustain this service for a very long time without tapping into other funding sources.
Kathy, could you also do a comparative analysis? We are a rural county library. Check your other rules. Check Winnemucca, check Yerington, Lyon County. See what they're spending on Hoopla.
Well, we're the only one in the consortium in our area that offers Hoopla. Everybody else is with the consortium is in and puts money into Libby, and we put money into Libby, but not like we have with Hoopla. I called Clark County, I called Douglas, I called some of the other ones, and they are all feeling very much that digital services are going to increase. That's just how services are happening, and we're going to have to think about how we're going to manage this. There's a little library in Nebraska that is comparable to us, and they have a budget of $3,800 a month, but they have a very, very small print book budget. So we really can't, it's really like comparing apples to oranges, because everybody's different, every service population's different, every demographic's different, every funding source is different. So I think we just are going to have to try something other than just watching it just go, which is a wonderful thing. Like, people are being served, right? Like, people
Is
are
that 1,300 what you quoted for last month?
1,343 instant circs.
And those would be Churchill County residents?
They are only Churchill County, because nobody else can get into this unless you have a Churchill County library card. So I would like to just give you a heads up that I'd like to cap it at 15 and those two cost caps, and see how it does for 30 days. And then I bring it back to you at the next meeting and I say, oh my gosh, this is amazing, or nope, this isn't working at all. And I come with some more data and I come with more statistics, and then we decide what we want to do for June, and then that'll give us 60 days of stats. Maybe not enough, I don't know, but I don't want it to be that I've done all of this without it being transparent, because you will be the ones that get the complaints, or you will be the ones that get the yay, it's working well. So I like to be very transparent when it comes to this kind of stuff. So That's what I would like to try, is 15, cap it at 15. A lot of places cap it at Douglas in Nevada, Douglas County in Nevada, cap it at 10. They opened it back up to 20 when COVID hit, and then they had to bring it back to 10 because they couldn't sustain the service either. I think it's sustainable, just not unlimited sustainability.
When you say 1,340, that would count me. What if I had checked out 6 hoopla items? Would that count me separate or just as the same person?
It counts you as, this is an instance, so it counts you as one. But when we look at what platform you use, say you check out a movie and you check out TV and you check out an audiobook or you check out an ebook, those are different statistics.
Okay.
So that's my hoopla.
How much is left in that budget item till July 1st?
$8,000.
Till July 1st?
And if we do 3,000 this month, or we did 3,000 in March and we do 2,000 in May, we did some math and we came up with that if we spend $3,000 a month, we're looking at $36,000 a year to be able to sustain this, and it's just not going to happen. So it would be great if it could, but we have to figure out how to be financially responsible with all of our monies. So
Correct.
I hope that helped. I hope that explained kind of where I'm coming from.
Well, and I know we're going to have some more questions, but one of the things, and I don't want to cut those off, I know that they're going to come in, but you had brought this item and this concern to us last month, and you'd articulated a time frame before you thought that you would need to start to do this. But in reviewing the usage and the amount of interest that our community has had in this, you're accelerating a time frame that you've talked to us about. And so this is just giving us another information point, and this is giving us a chance to look at your plan to do this. Sari, I know you've got your mic open. Did you
Yeah, I wonder if there's a magic number that you would like to have as the budget each month for Hoopla. Do you have, like, I would like to stay at no more than 1,500, but it would be really great if we could just do 1,000. Do you have that, golden number in your head that would just make everything make sense so we can have this as a sustainable product?
I don't,
Okay.
because when the previous director had it, she had it capped at $1,500 a month, and that usage is there. Before, the previous director to that had it opened and it was unlimited. And you can see in the graphs huge amounts of growth when we opened it back up to everything. I don't know yet. In a perfect world, it'd be like, let's dump all that we have and let's figure out how we can do all of this. But I really don't think that's the right thing to do either. I think we have to figure out how we can do it responsibly. Like, it's not our money, like I think we have to do it responsibly. So,
But we have 1,340 Churchill County residents that are using it
just in March.
just in March. That's amazing. How many people walk through how many come into the library
Yeah.
in March?
Yeah.
How many? Do you
and
have
in
it off the
survey,
top of your
yes.
head?
And we talked about that. And in the survey, it shows how many people, you'll see this when we share that data with you, how many people do walk in the door and how many people do check out physically in the building. But overall, digital services are growing. And it's not just us, it's digital services are growing, period. So we're going to have to figure out what that looks like for our library.
Well, maybe we need to look at the budget.
Next year, we're going to look at it
You've got
right away.
1,340 in 1 month. That is a huge need, and our county residents that are paying taxes use it.
Well, I had a staff member bring up, and I think this is a good point just to put out there. If we were to purchase this, we would need more physical space to be able to put that audiobook on the shelf. And we would have to have, we would spend staffing on cataloging it and shelving it and all the physical pieces that go with what we do. So we have to find a balance. So I'd like to start with 15. I'd like to cap those 2 platforms and see what it does in 30 days.
I think a couple of the numbers that you use to help me understand, and you can correct me if I've gotten them wrong or if they've changed, when you were trying to walk me through some of the depth of this problem, or not problem, of this usage. And part of what I'm really appreciating here is that you're being very reflective on this as the needs of our community is changing, and you're applying what you are observing to what we need as an entity to be sustainable. And so in order for us to be competitive in the state and to be able to offer the amount of service that we need to be able to offer for our patrons, you know, we need to be able to meet these needs, but we also need to be able to survive as we meet these needs. We don't want to be, you know, offering something and then going into the ground with it. You had mentioned, or Jay had brought this to you, that our average user of Hoopla is checking out 5.5 books per month, that we have some super users that are doing quite a bit more than that, and looking at the kinds of categories in which they're doing, a lot of that usage is coming into the audiobooks. Our patrons are really enjoying this kind of access, and it's serving a lot of our people. We're noticing that Douglas is doing the 10 cap. You had given me a couple of other examples that had gone down to a 6 cap or an 8 cap. So you're being very generous in moving to that 15. It's what you and your staff had asked for in order to kind of bridge people into this, and then pushing information out on how Hoopla is a pay per usage kind of a platform, letting them know how that works, and then watching their usage and trying to respond to that. I think that this gives us a lot of leeway to bridge our patrons into the usage, and it might cut down on things like just doing unlimited checkouts with the knowledge that they may or may not actually get to that book this month and then checking it out the next month, because there seems to be no penalty for that. I think that if many of our patrons that are using it know that, you know, take from the buffet what you'll eat, enjoy that, get through that, and if you need more, then talk to the library staff. You had talked to me about maybe having a couple of library cards behind the desk for somebody who said, I'm running a project, I need more than that, and that becomes a data point for you to see if the usage requires more than the cap that you have. So there seems to be a lot of pieces in here that give you chances for points of reflection and data catch. It seems like a reasonable plan that allows your staff to respond and doesn't cut people off and surprise them. You can push out education for that. And then, you know, as we watch that usage, then we can come a little closer to that magic number after we also have our approved budget at the start of the fiscal year, because we're still kind of waiting for that budget to come in too. So it seems like it's fairly intentional.
But we'd have money left if you capped it at 1,500, right?
We hope to. Yeah,
Okay,
and that Hoopla, that won't end at the fiscal year. That bill's paid. So once I burn through, or once we spend that $11,661, I got to figure out how to pay for it after that. So that's why it's here now and not July 1, when, you know, our budget is set and this is the way it's going to be. What are we going to do? So I really think the caps will help. I really do. I don't know yet if it's 10 or if it's 5 or if it's $1,500. I just don't know yet. I have lived and breathed Hoopla for 60 days now, and I made a joke yesterday that I'm not going to die of diabetes or anything else. I'm going to die of Hoopla. So I would just like to start it and see what happens in May, and then I bring it back to you, and we decide. No, 15 is, you know. We have 5 super users in our that are using everything they can. 5. That's not the majority of our 1,300. So there's got to be a comfort for everybody, and we just have to figure out what that is.
Are they using it for a business?
No, I don't know. I don't know what they're using.
I would just like to kind of say something to hopefully relieve a little bit of anxiety that some of us may be feeling. The library has other resources like Libby, and which is online. And I think if we just say, hey, we are capping this at 15, but there's Libby that you can use too, so they know we aren't just leaving them high and dry, that they have other resources they can use, and this is just to benefit all of us, because if it would just be very sad if we didn't get this figured out and then next year we have a budget of 0 for hoopla. It's better to be prepared than drowning.
Yeah.
Okay, explain to me why we would have a budget of 0 after, did you put any, what do
There's
we-
money, there's money in
Okay.
e-materials,
And how much?
but it won't be 11,000.
Okay, but we're not gonna have 0,
Yeah.
we've got money in it.
No, I understand. I was just doing hypothetically, maybe not this new fiscal period, but the period after that, with everything that's going on in the world right now, we don't know very much. So I would rather be prepared than not knowing and then biting our fingernails saying, man, we should have looked forward instead of just been, well, we're okay.
Appreciate the intentionality of Kathy and her staff there, and that they are using this time to pay very close attention to it. I also really appreciate you calling out Libby and some of the other resources that we have. I also think that the timing on this is fortuitous. It may not have been planned in this way, but we do have a survey that's out to our public, and if they want to take the opportunity to say, hey, I may have only been keeping to the average of 5.55 checkouts per month, but I am gearing up for a project where I'm going to have more. What do I do for that, right? This gives us an opportunity to kind of tailor to them. But our usual user is using far lower than the 15.
Right. I love that. I love how it just kind of melds together, how it meshes. So good planning, Kathy.
Thank you.
What's the average monthly, Kathy?
Average monthly
For
user?
hoopla?
Well, about $2,000. The March was a little high, but March was high on our door count and physical checkouts. Like we all said, March was kind of a weird month because we didn't see $3,100 in hoopla, like we didn't see that coming. So about $2,000, $2,100 a month. And maybe this 15 will get us to that without us all having heartburn about how are we going to fund this amazing service. But there are other services. We also look at what other libraries in the consortium have, and if they have it and they have it in a physical, we bring it in, we courier it in, and we get them that. So I don't think they're going to lose out on a lot of materials. It's just how do we get what they need
Okay,
and be able to afford it long term.
When you say 5 users, give me how many they check out a month.
At least 25.
Okay, then let's limit how many you can do.
Well, that's the 15. That's the cap at 15 checkouts.
Oh, okay, I
Yep,
thought you wanted
yep.
$1,500.
Yeah, no, 15 checkouts.
Oh, I like that
Per
idea.
person
I like
gives
that.
us a starting, it literally gives us a benchmark of where we can go from there.
So if I got on Hoopla,
Mm-hmm.
I could do 15.
Starting May 1st.
Perfect.
Before May 1st, you can do as much as you want, so.
Up to 25.
What?
Up to 25, right?
Up to 25, yes.
So go nuts for a minute or two, Sue.
What's
Go,
that?
go nuts for a minute or two, and then May 1st, it's 15
No,
as a
you know
cap.
There
what?
goes my graph.
I couldn't, never mind, we couldn't load it on my phone, so I forgot my password. So are you wanting a motion?
I just want support. If you guys are okay with those numbers to start with, I would appreciate it.
It says possible action. I'd like to make a motion to support Kathy and limit checkouts to 15 per user.
Okay, thank you. And the caps on the audiobooks and ebooks?
Yes.
Okay.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion or questions that we want to take before we take a vote?
I do. With the motion, are you going to come back Then if 15 is not the cap, you'll come back
I will
and
come
ask
back with- yep.
more? Okay.
I will. I'll bring you the data that we have and the most updated numbers that we have, and we'll come up with some ideas, and then we'll bring it back to you guys.
Okay.
So you understand what the process is and what we're doing with it.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any amendment that needs to happen to the motion, the motion as described? I think it covers it. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Do we feel ready to take a vote on that? Any other comments? All right, so let's take a vote on that. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you.
At this point in the meeting, we have room for another public comment. Is there anyone who would like to make a public comment at this time?
Can I make a public comment? I know I just talked too much, but I forgot to mention about how wonderful the library is for my daughter who's in college right now. She is using it as such a big resource just to get all of her work done. And I am so thankful that we have this venue for people to use to have a safe place to study where they aren't, whatever happens to kiddos these days, you know. So thank you very much for that.
I appreciate that comment, Sari. And from my perspective, I agree with that. I know that my students have made a lot of use of the library and the digital services of the library, including Hoopla. So maybe some of that rise was coming from mine. Do you have any other public comments at this time? Hearing none, I think we are ready for an adjournment. Let's move to adjourn by unanimous consent.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.